Hello and good morning. Today is a great day here on the farm. It's beautiful weather, so I'm hoping this video turns out nice. And I'm really excited to do this video because this is probably one of the hardest things that I've taught myself to do in the process of starting young horses. So today I'm going to demonstrate long lining. And I've got my very patient student, Jack. I am not a great long liner. Jack is a wonderful, patient student for me to learn this skill and hopefully get a little better at it. Walk on before I start with the young horses. So I'm going to pick up my whip here. The way I believe there's two ways you can start to long line a horse. And so I'm going to start here on the left rein with what I believe is the best way to start. And I've got my long lines going through the side of the surcingle to the bit. But my outside long line is actually coming up over his back. And the reason I think that's the best way to start is because, not all horses will love when this outside rein goes behind their hip, kind of hanging close just above their hock there by the stifle. They won't all love that. So with this outside rein coming up over his back, I can still have two contacts, so left and right side, and I think it's a little less risky, at least to start. Good. So this is a really great exercise. I find when you're starting a young horse, because you can start to teach them a little bit about steering. Like there, he wanted to fall in, so I applied a little more pressure with my right hand, so my outside hand, and then I could steer the circle out. Now, as you know by now, Jack's pretty obedient. I am holding the whip. You don't have to start with a whip. I would almost say don't until you know that your horse is pretty comfortable and that you can manage all of the reins, because I find that to be really tricky, kind of keeping things untangled. People do it in a lot of different ways. Some people will drop the excess part of the rein and let that kind of hang on the ground. I find for me, I step on it more often than not. So I kind of just have the excess loosely gathered in my hands. And again, I'm in a round pen, so the likelihood of him running away from me for a long period of time is limited, but there's still some risk for sure. So this is something that takes a lot of time to perfect, and I am not there yet. So as you can see, what this does is, even as Jack's walking, and like I've said in the past, Jack's actually got a great mouth and he accepts contact really well. But when I use the contact, he's actually yielding to it, which is a really great thing to start teaching them when you're not on their back without the weight of the rider. So this walk is super. Now, in the process of long lining, the point is that you can start to teach them a little bit of steering. Now, with my outside long line over his back, I'm not going to be able to change direction as freely as I would like to, or I would be able to with my long line around his haunch. So I'll work here a little bit on the circle, and I'll see if I can maybe just change the shape or the position of the circle on my own. And then when it's time to change direction, I might have to put that around his hip. So one of the cool things you can start with is just a halt. And so as many of you know, by this point, Jack's pretty good with the voice command. But that also comes from, he did this training fairly early on. So I'm going to go ahead and ask him to stand. I'll try and do it in a position that the camera can see easily. So I'll wait till he kind of comes back up to the top. And so as I use my voice, I'm going to gently take a little pressure on both of the long lines. Oh, good boy. Right, and then as he stands, I give, right? So that's excellent. And I can even stand here a little bit and play with that inside rein and the outside. Good boy. And he starts to kind of mouth the bit. He hasn't quite given yet. There he goes, and he gives. So I give. Again, that is such a cool concept to teach the horses from the ground, so that when you get on and you whoa, that your whoa works. And that when you apply contact with your reins, that that they know what you're looking for, or that they know how to accept that pressure, that they don't throw their head up, push their tongue over the bit, and flail their head around at the end of their standing martingale. This is a really, really useful tool. All right, I'll see if I can get him to walk on. Walk on. When I try and show you the other method, where I'm more behind him and the lines go around his stifle, you can kind of use the reins on the side of their belly to ask them to go forward, which I think is cool because it starts to simulate leg. So here I'm going to go ahead and just ask him to trot. 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 Good boy. And so as I'm doing this right here in its very early stages, this is no more complicated than lunging, right? So my left hand is controlling the bend, and my right hand, just like riding, or my outside aids, is controlling the track. Good boy. Good. And again, I'm going to go ahead and ask him to walk, but I'm going to do it by gently taking a feel on both long lines. And hold, and give. Good boy. Excellent. Very nice. So now I'm going to try and work on moving my circle a little bit, making it bigger and making it smaller. I don't do canter on the long line. Maybe some people do. I'm not that talented at it, so I don't even go there. I think there's a lot I can work on just at this stage at the walk and the trot. So again, asking him to trot. Trot. Good boy. And so it helps if they're well versed in the lunging aids. So here I'm going to try and make my circle smaller. Good boy. So a little left rein pressure and then just feeling the right. Now I let it out. Sorry. Trot. Good boy. So starting back on that smaller circle, kind of both reins. Good boy. You can see him start to feel the contact and come up through his back a little bit, which is nice. And then a bigger circle. So I kind of step towards his hip, use more outside rein. Good boy. Good. You can see my whip is still in my right hand. Good. And then I'm going to move down to the bottom and make a smaller circle. Good. And just like when you ride, when you close your fingers, you got to close your leg. Good. Good boy. Such a lovely horse. Yeah, I can even go a little smaller. I'll shorten my lines. Easy boy. Yeah, it gets hard to manage. That's okay. Oh, both reins. Give. Cheer up. Good boy. Nice. Good. And then bigger circle. So a little softening. Outside rein. Good. 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 And you want to be a little careful that when you open the circle that you're not doing it in counter bend. Good boy. So I'll ask him to walk. Oh, good boy. And that's all really good. Oh, get him to stand. Oh, good. Okay, so now I'm going to try and transition to what I consider the slightly more challenging way to do this. I think I'm going to drop my whip. And then, okay, doing this transition, I know with Jack that I can just throw that over and it doesn't create a reaction. But it wasn't always like that. So if you have a young horse or a sensitive horse, you would probably walk up to them and take your time doing this. So you would maybe do this, and you can see that that might startle some horses. If you've used a Pessoa or any type of lunging rig like that, again, it's all just you try and do it gradually. And you can see here he's super relaxed about this. He's probably more relaxed than me. And you want to be careful that they don't try and kick you, right? Because we all know that being at the back end of a horse can pose its own risks. So this is really, I think, what the concept of long lining is, or driving a horse, ground driving a horse. So when I'm in this position, I can slap the reins a little bit to ask him to go forward. Now he's quite quiet, but I drop my whip so that my hands aren't overly complicated. If needed, I'll pick it back up. So I'm going to go ahead and ask him to walk on, leg, walk on, good boy, good. And if you start doing this, I would suggest you do a lot at the walk, okay, good. So you can see I'm losing him a little bit here. All right, so my goal is going to be to get him to walk on the outside of the ring. Good, so I'm using that outside opening rein. Good. 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 Keeping him out. And I'm a little to the inside. I don't know that I have to be, but I just happen to be there. Good boy. Now I'm going to really try and ask him to stay out because he wants to cut in. So I'm getting more behind him versus on his inside hip. Good boy. And then the next thing I can do here is I can change direction. So left rein and outside rein closes. He starts his turn. I give the left side, and now I start taking the right. Good boy. Okay, so I'm still going to stay behind him rather than to the inside, and I'll show you that in a minute. Good boy. It's also a very good workout. Good. So again, trying to get him out a little bit. So moving my body. Good. 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 And so now what I can do, I'm going to ask him to halt again. See how that works. And ho and give. Good boy. Leg. Good. Good boy. And so now I'll position myself to the inside. So I'm going to shorten up now my right rein, and you can see, or hopefully you can see, that the outside long line is just by his stifle. It's actually over his tail, which is a very luscious stallion tail. So not ideal, but it's fine for this purpose. But when you're using this method, now you can start to see how I can change direction more freely than the method that comes over the horse's back. So I'll show you a change of direction here, if I can. I lost him a bit there, so I might try it in a different spot. Good. And you can see again, every time I just kind of make a little connection with the bit, he's having to kind of figure out where I want him to go. So here I'll change direction. So I apply the right rein, and the outside rein, just like if you're riding, stays connected. Get him to go a little further right, And now left. Walk on. Picking up my left rein, letting out my right. Now that gets really exciting when you're doing it in the trot. I'm not sure that I'm that coordinated, but I can maybe give it a try today, and if nothing else, it'll be a good laugh for everybody. Probably won't be able to talk and trot at the same time, so I'll do another change of direction since we've already done enough here to the right. So left rein, both reins really, but the left just applying a little more, and then right. Shortening the right rein, gently lengthening the left. Okay, so I'm going to just get myself kind of reacquainted here on my right rein. And I'm going to see, in this scenario, I could absolutely have my whip, but I'm going to try and do it without and see if he'll listen. All right, I'll see if I can get a trot. Trot. And a little slap with my line behind his tail. Good. Good. So the past few times I've lunged him, I think I've mentioned a little bit, good, that he likes to look to the outside of the circle. So this is actually a cool way to get him to not do that so much. And ho, little feel, great. I'm going to give him a few walk breaks because it's quite dusty out here today, just so that it doesn't get up into his nose too much. Great. So there you can see, even for him, when I started and I gave him that little encouragement with the one behind his bum, he kind of stepped off into the trot fairly briskly, and then maybe a few steps there where he was feeling my contact, he's trying to figure out where to go, where the release of the pressure is. So if all goes well, maybe I'll try a change of direction here in the trot, just to demonstrate that. Trot, good boy. Yeah. Nice. Look how he comes up over his back. Yeah. Hard without my whip, but that's okay. And you might need a little more room if you were going to do this change of direction for your trot, but I'll try. So I bring him right, and now left. Good boy. Let the left out. Good. It's all right. Trot. Nice. Good. Yeah. I can try that again. Good. Good, and turning left. And right. Good. You might even have to go forward a few steps, and he canters there, so that's okay. Oh. Good. He wasn't sure why I was running. And ho. Good. Good. And ho. I'll let him walk. And I'll try that a few more times. Oh, feel both reins and then give. Good. So the change of direction can for sure get a little exciting. But it's, within a round pen, you're fairly safe. And again, this method, the changing of direction, isn't really something I would do until you're far down the road. It's a great tool, but it can go sideways really quickly. All right, so I might try another change of direction. I find I just run out of space a little bit when I go to change the direction, which is okay. Walk on. Good. All right, I'll see if I can get him back to trot. Trot. A little tap with my outside. Good. So what I might do is try and just get him trotting on a 10-meter circle first. Good boy. Easy. Oh. Good boy. Easy. Good. And then right, going back up towards the camera, and left. Changing direction. Good boy. Nice horse. Good. Good. Come on, trot. Good. Yeah, and for me, I got a little unorganized with my reins. And like I said, he's patient, so he just walks until I figure my stuff out. What a good boy. What a good boy. All right, I'll try one more change of direction, because I found this one was a bit harder. All right, I'm going to try and get him down here in a small circle at the bottom. Yeah, it's kind of fighting my outside aids there. Good boy. And then right. Good boy, short and right. Good. And hold. Nice boy. Ah, that's awesome. It's so fun to do. You can get really creative. Still, the hardest thing I would say that I find is just getting them to walk straight when you're behind them. So maybe I'll finish up with that here. Good. My long lines, I believe these are proper long lines. They're nylon kind of on the first third of the rein so that they slide more easily through the surcingle rings. And then they are cotton in the part that you hold on to. And again, super important that you wear gloves. When I first started doing this, I didn't have proper long lines. I just used 2 lunge lines, and that worked well. But these I find with the nylon, then the cotton work a little better, and the nylon's more narrow. All right, so I think Jack was a very good student here today and a great demonstrator. So we'll be done with that for today. So thank you so much for watching this video. See if I can get him to stop here in the middle. And hold, release. Good. And then maybe just to add in, you can actually also ask them to go backwards. So I'll reposition myself. Good. And he's actually from the ground pretty good about backing up. So I'm going to apply pressure. Back, 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 back. Good boy. Good. And then maybe as I finish, I'll just ask him to mouth the bit. Good boy. Oh, big sigh. He says, Mom, that was a lot of work today. Good boy. Well, let me see you. Give a little bit. Both reins. Nice. All right, that's enough for today. Thank you so much for watching.